Hey everyone, it's Brett Hornby here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and welcome back to another Calgary Stampeders game day post. And as you can see in the background, I am in my hostel at the Same Sun Central Montreal in Montreal. So yeah, I am in Montreal, Quebec, biggest city in the province of Quebec. As yes, I'll be going to the game tomorrow, as the Calgary Stampeders will be taking on the Montreal Alouettes on the road. This will be on Friday, September the 25th. It'll be a 5 p.m. kickoff Mountain or 7 Eastern, where I'm in now in the Eastern time zone. Of course, get some sleep underneath the eyes. I'm not used to the humidity, so that's why my eyes look a little red. I haven't had a great time in Montreal yet, but my plan is I'll take in some activities after the game Friday night. But looking ahead to the game Friday night, I'm anticipating a tough one for my Calgary Stampeders. I mean, we are 8-5 in the West Division, second. While the Montreal Alouettes, they are 7-7, second in the East Division. So both teams are looking like they'll likely make the playoffs. However, historically, this hasn't been a good place for Calgary, as they've lost 7 of their last 8 trips to Montreal. And I think the last time the Calgary Stampeders won in Montreal, when you look at 7 of the last 8, was when Johnny Manziel was the quarterback in the CFL in 2018. Remember when Johnny Manziel was playing? But the other thing that's going to make it tough, I feel, for the Calgary Stampeders, not only with history on not their favor, traveling across the country, and even I feel it, the jet lag from flying out from Calgary to Montreal, is Gordon Adams Jr., the quarterback for the Calgary Stampeders. He is going to start, but he got banged up last week against the BC Lions. Had to get taken out. Apparently he's been having back issues. I don't think he's 100%. And then PJ Walker, he also got hurt in that shellacking last week when Calgary lost 52-23 against BC at home. PJ Walker is out, so quarterbacks now for Calgary's Gordon Adams Jr. starting, and then Josh Love, who's been on the practice roster, is going to now be the number 2 guy. And then they brought back Logan Bonner back, who was a free agent after we didn't sign him, and the Argonauts picked him up because Quincy Vaughn actually is going to be dressed as the fullback. So Calgary is looking a little banged up coming in this game. Well, the Montreal Alouettes, they're going to get healthier because Davis Alexander is supposed to be back starting at quarterback, and Montreal was firing on all cylinders with Davis Alexander. Let's also throw in that Jalen's brother, Jalen Philpot's brother, Corey Philpot, is going to be back. So we've got the Philpots facing off against each other. And then Austin Mack, as well as Marc-Antoine Dequoy. So the Montreal Alouettes, I'm going to say, are looking healthier, while my Calgary Stampeders, I'm going to say something's happened to our defense, as we allowed 83 points the last 2 games, including putting up 52 against last week, which is kind of alarming considering our defense has been the crown jewel in the CFL. So I'm going to say it's going to be a big game to really tell where Calgary's at, I'm going to say, in terms of fighting off some injuries, and history just hasn't been on their side being in Montreal. I guess we saw that the last 2 times that Montreal's hosted the Grey Cup, we won, so we have that at least. But this is now in 2025, week 17, and then this is going to be make or break for Calgary the next few weeks on terms of I think we're going to make the playoffs, but we host a home playoff game. That tends to be up in the air because this is the first of 3 Calgary is on the road, because after this week Calgary flies back to the West Coast, because next Friday, October 3rd, I believe it's October 3rd is the game on Friday, they'll be hosting the BC Lions, and then Saturday before the Thanksgiving, they'll be in Hamilton to take on the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And then Saturday, October 18th, they'll have their final home game against the Toronto Argonauts. And then, since I'm just going down the rest of the drive, and then on, I think it's Friday, October 24th, I believe all my dates are up, Calgary will be finishing off the season up in Edmonton. So I'm going to say the next 3 games, especially being on the road, Calgary is 3-2 on the road this season. I'm still thinking it's going to be a little tough game for Calgary. They're saying that the Alouettes have gone healthier. I don't like how Calgary's looked the last couple of weeks, and the fact that I'll do the best I can, encouraging them in the stands in enemy territory. But our starting quarterback still, he hasn't played his best when he hasn't been injured, but let's see if Diedrich Mills can still run it up. But going back, what I meant to say is the last time when Calgary played Montreal actually snuck one out with a 23-21 victory when Maltos, their kicker, kicked, I think it was a 58-yarder with a minute to go, and Calgary's offense struggled that game too. So that's why, as a fan, I'm a little nervous for this one. But thankfully, I've made a trip out of it, and I stay in a hostel so I could be able to stay here for a week, because it'd be a shame if I flew 3,500 kilometers away from home just to go to the football game, and if they laid another egg. But I'm also here to experience Montreal for the very first time, and things have been good in terms of everything being bilingual, but I do try to say bonjour, hello first, and partout anglais has helped me out a few times, as in people manage the switch to English. So it's very early, but Montreal's been great, but I still have a lot more sites that I want to see, and then with this being the last weekend before the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, both teams are going to be wearing their Indigenous themed logos, which I'm going to say it's beautiful what the CFL has done. And once you get home, of course, I'm going to have to, if I ever catch up on my videos, I'll have to talk about the rule changes that will happen in 2026 and 2027 on how I feel about that. So I'll just close out and say, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fans journey, just make sure you hit like, subscribe, and I have my other social media links down in the description below. It's starting to actually fill up around me in this hostel in the communal space. So I'm just going to say, go Stamps go, or Allez à Cheval, or go Horse, as we say in English, on the east side back at home. I'll do my best to cheer red and be red here in Montreal, but it's up to the players on the field on both sides. I'm hoping just for a good game, good experience, and as I'll say, I'll see you in the next video, and looking forward to making some content along my adventures around Montreal, despite the STM strike, and how I can show my love for Calgary sports, well, Montreal, because I've got a few twists that I planned that Calgary sports history has worked well for Calgary in Montreal, despite the history between the Calgary Stampeders and the Montreal Alouettes playing in Montreal. So I'll see you in the next video.